Hello and welcome. My name is Alan. Grab your drink, pull your seat up. We're gonna do something we ain't done in a long time. Talk about notable people from the area. So let's do that. First town we are going to talk about is Nora, Virginia. Uh, from there we have people like Margaret Benz, who was a native of Brooklyn and graduate of Vassar College, but came to Nora in 1815 on the first train to actually reach the town and worked for 50 years as the deaconess for a small Episcopal church there. Uh, Her home was a gathering place and recreation center for the children in town. But yeah, Margaret Benz. Next, we know Ralph Stanley is claimed for Clintwood, but Nora also claims him because he grew up in the nearby town of McClure and attended high school at Nora, but I think he was technically born in Clintwood. Or it may just been that he claimed Clintwood as his hometown, which all that's in Dickinson County anyway, so that was Ralph Stanley. Next is Katherine Counts. Counts was a coal miner from Nora, and in 1983 she was killed along with six others in a mine explosion at McClure, Virginia, and is believed to be the first woman miner killed in the U.S. Kathleen Counts. And lastly, from Nora, we have Tristan Silvers. Tristan was a basketball player at Irvington High School, and he later played professionally, first for the Harlem Globetrotters and then for several teams in Europe. But yeah, I remember Tristan Silvers. Uh, he was out of ETSU. He was actually brought to uh, my elementary school, and he had uh, visited the class I was in, signed uh, a bunch of things with his name. So yeah, Tristan Silvers. Next town we're going to talk about is Virgie, Kentucky. They have only one person. That is Todd May, who was the 1982 Kentucky Mr. Basketball. Uh, so yeah, which means he's considered one of the best players in high school uh, for that year. Todd May. And that'll bring us to our last town, which is Elizabethton, Tennessee. Now, it has a few uh, people, Where did that go? There we are. The first person we want to talk about is Paul Edward Anderson, who was a gold medalist in weightlifting. So yeah, he won an Olympic gold medal in weightlifting. He was a two-time national champion in Olympic weightlifting. So Paul Edward Anderson. Next is Margaret Bowen. She led the March 12th, 1929 walkout of 823 female workers at American Glanstoff beginning the 1929 labor strikes. Margaret Bowen. Next is William Gannaway Brownlow. He was a governor of Tennessee, a U.S. senator, a Methodist minister, and publisher of the Whig newspaper. So we're talking someone from early in American history. He was the 17th governor of Tennessee from 1865 to 1869. And a U.S. Senator for Tennessee, 1889 to 1875. Or 1869 to 1875, sorry. But yeah, William Gannaway Brownlow. Now, next we want to talk about is Samuel Perry Carter. Carter was a U.S. Army general and U.S. Navy admiral. He was a U.S. Navy officer who served in the Union Army as a brevet major general during the American Civil War and became a rear admiral in the postbellum U.S. Navy. What does that say? He was the first and thus far only U.S. officer to have been commissioned both a general officer and a naval flag officer. So yeah, Samuel P. Carter. Next person we want to talk about is Charles Davis. He was a University of Tennessee football player and Fox Sports analyst. Let's see, it shows he is currently an analyst for the NFL on CBS, though, working alongside Ian Eagle. Along with Brandon Gowden, he is the analyst for Madden NFL series since 2017. So yeah, a former University of Tennessee football player and sports analyst who's worked for Fox and CBS and done the voice analyst stuff for Madden NFL since 2017. That was Charles Davis. Next is Landon Carter Haynes. Haynes was the Tennessee Speaker of. Let me start again. Haynes was the Speaker of the Tennessee House of Representatives, a Confederate senator, a lawyer, a Methodist minister, and the editor of the Tennessee Sentinel. Uh, let's see. He served as a Confederate senator from Tennessee from 1862 to 1865 and served several terms in the Tennessee House of Representatives, including one term as Speaker, 1849 to 1851. So yeah, Landon Carter Haynes. Next is Mack McLean, or Alec McLean, sorry. Uh, Former New Zealand rower who won an Olympic bronze medal, but it doesn't say if he was born in Elizabethton or lived. I'm not sure. Alec McLean. Thomas Amos Rogers Nelson, an early Elizabethton attorney and member of the U.S. House of Representatives. Is also a judge and active primarily in East Tennessee during the mid-19th century, so the mid-1800s. He represented Tennessee's 1st congressional district in the 36th U.S. Congress, 1859 to 1861, where, yeah. And the Tennessee's 1st district is that far northeast portion. I'm familiar with it because I lived in it for a while when I lived in Johnson City. But Thomas Amos Rogers Nelson. Next is Dayton E Phillips, who was a jurist and a member of the United States House of Representatives. American politician and member of the U.S. House of Representatives for the 1st Congressional District of Tennessee. So he also represented that 1st Congressional District. Next person we're going to talk about is Jeff Reed, who was a Major League Baseball catcher. Played for the Minnesota Twins from 1984 to 86, the Montreal Expos from 87 to 88, the Cincinnati Reds from 88 to 92, the San Francisco Giants from 93 to 95, the Colorado Rockies from 96 to 98, and the Chicago Cubs 99 to 2000. And that was Jeffrey Reed. Next person we're going to talk about is Alfred Alexander Taylor. He was a former governor of Tennessee and a congressman. He also was a lecturer from East Tennessee. He served as the 34th governor of Tennessee from 1921 to 23 and was one of 3 Republicans to hold the position from the end of Reconstruction to the latter half of the 20th century. And served 3 terms in the U.S. House of Representatives from 1889 to 1895. So yeah, he was in the U.S. House of Representatives, and then he served as Tennessee's governor. And that was Alfred Alexander Taylor. Next person we're going to talk about is Robert Love Taylor, Governor of Tennessee, U.S. Senator from Tennessee. He also was a writer and lecturer. A member of the Democratic Party, he served 3 terms as the 24th governor of Tennessee from 1887 to 1891. And again from 1897 to 1899. And then subsequently served as a United States senator from 1907 until his death. He also represented Tennessee's 1st District in the U.S. House of Representatives, 1879 to 1881, and was the last Democrat to ever hold the district seat. And of course, this was prior to the flip over. So this was still the Democrat Party of slavery, you know. Not the Democratic Party against it. So, yeah. But, yeah, he served first as a U.S. Representative, and then he went on to be a governor of Tennessee, and then finally he would serve as the senator from one of the 2 senators from Tennessee. So yeah, that was Robert Love Taylor. Next person we want to talk about is Kenneth R Wallace. All it says about him, he was a United States Navy Blue Angels pilot. And that was Kenneth R Wallace. Kent Williams is the next person we want to talk about. A Speaker of the Tennessee House of Representatives, and was also first elected in 2006 to the Tennessee House of Representatives as a Republican, and let's see, and then elected to, I'm guessing that's the U.S. House. Oh, no, that's probably just the Tennessee House, because re-elected in 2008. I'm trying to see if he's had any other high positions. So, looks like he's mainly spent his time in the Tennessee House of Representatives so far. So he left in 2014. So yeah, Kent Williams. And the last person we want to talk about from Elizabethton is Jason Witten, who is a former NFL tight end. He played 17 seasons mainly for the Dallas Cowboys. I don't even know if he played for anybody else besides Dallas. Uh, Played at the University of Tennessee. And let's see. Um, was a third round pick for Dallas. In 2018 became a color analyst for ESPN's Monday Night Football. He then returned to NFL for 2019. Joined the Las Vegas Raiders in the 2020 season and again retired, but signed a one-day contract to retire as a Cowboy. So yeah, Jason Witten. And that's everybody from those towns I wanted to talk about. So, as always, educate thyself, think, read, study, learn. Someone tries to tell you something you have trouble believing, ask them to cite their sources. I will, of course, be putting these links in the description below the video, as this is just from Wikipedia. I'll see you all in the next video. Until then, later.